Okay, I'm going to put out this video. This is an earthquake warning. The probability of earthquakes is going to increase here in the next couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like this. Let's go over this kind of quickly here. This is the US GS. We can see a bunch of earthquakes here. I have it set for the last month, right? And we're looking at some of the biggest earthquakes because we're sorting by largest magnitude. Okay, you can see the big one here happened on April 2nd. Some happened back in March 23rd, April 5th, April 9th, April 14th, March 22nd again, April 26th, and April 2nd, right? So you see all these are basically 6.5 or higher. Some pretty big earthquakes have come rolling in, all right? So what's going on? Why do we get all these earthquakes? Why do we get all these earthquakes, and why am I giving a warning now? Okay, let's talk about it. Right, so what we're looking at in front of you right now, this is basically, you can think of it as electrical current or flux coming in from the sun. All right, and don't listen to seismologists, because my take about seismologists are they're a dollar short and a day late. They always show up on the news after the earthquakes that happen, but they really predict earthquakes, right? They don't know what they're doing. So let's take a look at some of these dates. Well, we saw March 23rd. as one of the dates for the earthquake, March 22nd, those kind of dates. Remember that? So look right here, March 23rd. What do you know? Right at the peak of when the most amount of energy, plasma is flowing into the earth, electrical charges increasing into the earth, right? That's what's happening. And the earth is taking on more and more charge, and we get some earthquakes here at the peak. All right? Right. Let's go back to the other screen for a second. Here it is, March 23rd, March 22nd, 6.9, 6.4. Here's a March 26th, all right near that peak, right? We just looked at the date. Okay. All right, so now let's look at what's going on. Why do we get this big earthquake here April 2nd? Here's one April 5th. Okay, we got one on the 9th, and then it took a little while, big jump, and then we saw one on the 14th. So let's just remember these dates, the 2nd, the 5th, the 9th, and the 14th, okay? All right, so here we're back on the chart, and what starts to happen, the electrical charge coming into Earth starts to decrease. The solar flux from the sun is reducing, right? You can see this is our dates down here, March 17, 24. What's the date down here? What do you know? March 2nd and 3rd. The biggest earthquake came in right down here at the low. So I can see people scratching their head right now. Why would you get an earthquake at the low? We got some up here near the high, got some near the low. Because when charge dissipates, when the charge completely dissipates and starts to, I don't want to say cool off, but the charge starts to reduce, right, the earth settles, get an earthquake. So when the earth is getting fully charged with electrical current, you get an earthquake. They can happen on the way up and the way down too, but they tend to happen near the peak. And when the charge is getting depleted, you get an earthquake. Not saying you can't get some in the middle, you do, but the big ones tend to happen at the peak. Okay, where's the 9th? The 9th is over here, still pretty far down, right? We're still down in this valley. Okay, now let's go all the way to the 14th. Remember the 14th? Way up here. Way up here. We get an earthquake. Way up here. And look where we're headed. Okay. Once we start getting above 190, which right now today, we're sitting at 191. Start getting above 190, getting above 200, could potentially see some really big earthquakes start to show up again, both at the peak and at the next valley down. Now, if this thing really takes off and gets well above 200, we could get some massive earthquake. And volcanoes can happen as well. All right, so anyway, I'm just keeping the video short. It just absolutely amazes me. The data is there, okay? And I just think, when I think about all the people in the world who are supposedly they're experts, guys and gals, let me tell you something. They're more concerned about their next round of funding. They don't give a you-know-what about truth. And you could throw this in their face, seismologists, and tell them the sun, it's not just really the sun, it's more of the electrical aspect to the universe and our galaxy. I won't dive into all that right now, but electrical charge is what creates earthquakes on the earth, okay? You could throw all the data in their face, they wouldn't care. They'll stay with their standard stupid stuff. because that's how they get their funding, and they're not going to rock the boat, and they don't want to. It's the same thing in astrophysics nowadays. They're worried about where their money's going to come from next. They don't want to rock the boat, and they don't want to talk about the truth. Now, in astrophysics, of course, we know that the James Webb Telescope blew the standard model right out of the water, right? And you still got these so-called experts clinging to the standard model Big Bang garbage. Even after James Webb totally blew their theory out of the water, they still want to hold on to it and double down on all this nonsense. Well, it's the same thing with seismologists. You could throw all this data in their face and say, hey, look, the electrical charge from the sun is creating earthquakes. No, it's not. The data says it is. No, it's not. Doesn't matter. You don't know what you're talking about. We're the experts. So this is the way the world is right now, guys and gals. People do not, they get their degree. They're, I'm a PhD. Who are you to tell me what to do? And blah, blah, blah. But science has really taken a dive for the worse. It really has. It used to be that evidence-driven studies helped us get to conclusions. Nowadays, it's all total BS. It's if I'm going to get funding by lying, then I'll just lie and get the funding. So it's all driven by greed. At least a lot of it is. You have a few people that are being honest, but most people are not. It's total garbage. It's true in astrophysics, and it's true in seismology as well. They're too concerned about their funding. They don't want to acknowledge the truth. And those people just need to be removed from those positions. They're the old guard. They're holding up progress. They need to be removed. A new generation is going to move in, and we're going to have some major breakthroughs once we get this old guard out of the way, and the crowd that's concerned with greed, and get them the hell out of the way. We're going to start seeing some serious breakthroughs in science. But until then, we got to deal with these you-know-whats that are just, they're worried about their retirement accounts and about keeping the status quo. It's very unfortunate, very disturbing. But anyway, I want to put out the earthquake warning. I believe we're going to see some pretty decent sized earthquakes over the next few weeks. Now, if this cools off right away and dives down, like if it just stops right here and starts diving down, then we might just get some kind of medium earthquakes, and we may not see some big ones. But if it starts getting above the 200 line, like we saw over here, we could see some 7.0s or higher, we could see multiple 6.5s or higher, or we could see like one or two really big ones. And volcanoes are also an increased probability during this time. All right, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Talk to you all soon again next time.